Good morning. I wanted to tell you really quickly what the two types of mutual funds are that I focus on. Now, I have other mutual funds, but when I'm talking about my investment strategy, what I'm making sure to do on a regular basis, these are the two types of funds that I use. Now, the first one is called a target date fund. Generally, they pick a year. It's usually the year of your retirement, but it could be some other long term goal that you have. Either way, they call them target date funds and they have an actual date, a year in them. So it might be Fidelity 2040 or Vanguard 2050 or whatever. The point is, they invest in stocks and bonds starting out very risky. So a lot of stocks and fewer bonds. And then as you get towards the date, say 2040, as it gets closer to that date, they start changing what they call the allocation. So how much stocks and how much bonds they have in it, they start changing it so that it's less risky when you get ready to need the money. So closer to 2040, for example, they will begin to have more bonds and less stocks. And that allocation is based on the risk. So, and when you need the money. And we talked about why when you don't need the money, you can be riskier. You have more time, right? So you can invest in riskier things. Well, it's the same thing with target date funds. It's just a mutual fund that changes its allocation over time. And those are great, except that they have high expenses. Some of them. You can find low expense target date funds, and I think those are great. Those are good for people who don't want to go in and look at their funds very often because they're going to change it for you and make it less risky over time for you. So those are great, but you got to watch the expense ratios. My other type of fund that I focus on are called index funds. Now you've heard of indexes, the S&P index, the NASDAQ index. What those are groups of companies that they have put together so that we can tell how the whole market is doing. So an S&P index is 500 companies of 500 of the largest companies that they have grouped together. And if those 500 are doing well, we say the whole stock market is doing well. So index funds just mark those same indexes. They're not picking companies and putting them in and taking them out like some other types of funds. They're just going to follow those indexes. And generally, if you do research and Google it and whatever else, you'll find that if you're following indexes, you're doing okay. You're doing fine in the market. You're not going to make a whole bunch, but you're going to make what the market makes. Those are the ones that I focus on. And you'll hear me talk probably in another video about a 3-fund portfolio. The 3-fund portfolio is a portfolio or your investments, but just 3 funds. You just need 3 to make sure that you have covered everything, that you're diversified. You just need 3 funds. And those 3 funds are all index funds. So I will talk about exactly what all that means in another video, but I want to tell you that there are basically just 2 types of funds that I recommend. Target date, which have actual dates attached to them, so your retirement date or whatever, and index funds. Those 2 types of mutual funds are the ones that I would recommend for anybody just trying to get started in investing. Okay, that didn't take long at all. Y'all take care. Bye.